Pat here. Dead Things and the Hideous Horror on How. There's been a part of my yard that has always looked empty. It's right at the back, kind of along the fence. And I always thought a good piece to put there would be a mausoleum. So that's what I've been working on. You can see there are the parts there. The mausoleum consists of 5 components. Side panel, left and right. That is the gray and brick piece in the center there. The door jambs, left and right of that gray piece. See the front on the left and the rear of it on the right. We'll get more into that in a moment. And the lintel. The lintel is also going to have a cross right there. I'm going to now show you the structure of the side panel. The base is 3/4 inch plywood, 5 feet long by 17 inches tall. This kind of gave me the most bang for the buck. It's trying to get it as high and as long as I could out of one sheet of styrofoam. And I think I actually had to use a little bit of another sheet. Okay, on to that is affixed 3 1x4s that are 6 feet tall, and then for additional support within there I just cut and glued OSB board just to kind of give some structure and laid it in there. Yeah, I know it's not matching up over there or there, but it's close enough. So part of the design idea for this came from Mill Pond Fright, their design, and a little bit from Rollin Pickens as well. The one thing that I didn't do was put a roof on this. I'm just going to tarp it. I need this thing to be able to disassemble quickly, considering that we have high winds here, and this isn't structure. It's not going to be, it's going to be as secured to the ground as I can make it, but I'm not going to trust it in 100k gust and wind. So the same kind of structure, just holding that there, the same kind of structure exists for the jambs. The same piece, 17 inch, 3/4 inch plywood, a 1x4 glued on there. I used Gorilla Glue on all of this. Still not certain whether it's was the right choice or if I used enough, because I've had some separate, but is what it is. And then these hinges. So this is how everything is going to connect. Pull the hinge out, pull the pin out, hinge to hinge, and then you have a side. Rinse and repeat for the other side, and away we go. So this is the front of the jamb. And the one thing I found when I assembled everything is that this looked really wimpy. It just didn't have any oomph to it. It's only 1.5 inches thick, and it just didn't have any strength to it or depth to it. So what I've gone and done here is I'm doubling up the foam. Onto that will be grafted 2 inches of foam. That will give it some oomph, some structure, some depth. Now, I've cut a recess here, and the reason for that recess is that I have to be able to support this. This is a light. Inside there, there's going to be candle LEDs, flickering LEDs that I'll make myself. So anyways, one obviously on each jamb, but that have to be able to support that light. And so what I'm going to do is this piece of wood is going to go in there. This, of course, is all going to be fastened using Great Stuff foam. Make sure nothing's going to come loose, and then also I'm going to be screwing into the back of here, and of course screwing in through the front like that. Same thing. I got that channel using this guy. I'm going to use PVC conduit, the receiver, and that's going to be up here. This is the back of my lintel, and that is going to go basically like that. And then the cross will have the mate to this, and plug in, and away we go. But I didn't like how the bottom panel was. I was doing it kind of almost the same as that, with the lath or plaster and brick. So I got another piece and went over top of that, and I screwed that one up. So I had to go and buy another sheet, this time just 1/2 inch, and lay that over top. So this is the pattern that I'm going with on the bottom now. And so once that is all heated up, it'll look like the top, all that texture in there. Paint! Beginning to look like something. It's been a while since I shot the last video of this project. So long ago, in fact, that it is now, for all intents and purposes, complete. A couple of things left to do, and I'll get into that in a moment. So I'll take you through what has been done since the last video. So as you can see, painting is now complete. I was contemplating leaving all of this just a gray, but it just didn't fit in, so I've done the same brick pattern here. The base is stone, a little stone cap there, stone edge there, and then stone on the lintel and stone at the top and the stone cross. I've also added the lights. These are actually from our old lights that we had out front, and I just spray painted them copper and then did the patina on them, and they actually have flickering LEDs, 4 5mm flickering yellow LEDs wired in series for 12 volts. I also have 2 lights there that help to illuminate the top. I was going to go with something from the bottom, but the thing is, it was washing into this area, which I want to keep completely dark. As you can see, I also painted the inside with black, and I was going to use my that sheeting, that tarp, construction tarps that I get, because it's black, but I had this thing and I hadn't used it, a sprayer, and I was very impressed on how much coverage you can get with very little paint. So well worth the investment. That thing was like 20 bucks, so at Princess Auto, so I'm sure there's similar out there in the great wide world. Show you a little bit about the wiring here. So, as I said, the LEDs in there, come into focus, there they are. That's where the wiring comes out of. Runs up there and across to this complex. So that is just a couple of RCA 6-terminal jacks that are just all wired together, all soldered together. So this one's soldered to this one. All the positives are soldered together. These 2 negatives are soldered together, and this one isn't. And I will get to that in a bit. There's all the wiring that goes up to a red and a red LED which kind of back side light the cross. And then there's those two which are purple 12 volt single LEDs. I got them off a Wish. And there's the raw LED right there. So that is what's in here and here. And I've got it pointed up to front light the cross. So what else I've done here is I've put this board here to give it a little bit more rigidity across the top. And so basically what this is a construction bracket to hold a 2x4, and then I've got a hinge there, so easily removed. And so just to actually show you how everything is, hinge, 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 hinge for the top, hinge for the top. So what that basically allows me to do is pull this thing apart in very quickly and disassemble it if I need to, if the winds get up. I do not need to see if this stuff will stand up to the winds. I had enough stuff not stand up to the winds that I believe in having it to be able to be easily disassembled and laid down is better than hoping that it's going to stay up in 100-kilometer gusts. So I'll turn it on and you can get a look at it. So that's it. Doesn't show up as well on this video screen, but I'm really liking the red backlighting the purple, and of course flickering LEDs. I still have to weather it, dirty it up, grime it up, and that will be done once it's set up outside. Oh, there it is. One of the things I did to the hinge pins is I actually tapered off the end just to make it easier to catch all those spaces easier. Made a big difference, because when I build things, I build perfectly for Halloween, because rarely is everything perfectly square and perfectly level and perfectly straight. I seem to be a natural for building for Halloween. Ah!